Hey friends, I've got some questions for you. Are you in the front row of your life? Are you able to look at yourself in the mirror? Are you trying to hide from yourself or others? Are you afraid of being seen? Are you afraid of being discovered? These are some powerful questions to contemplate, and they've really been on my heart lately. And to really ground this into an example, I'll just give the example of my yoga practice. It's always kind of my go-to way of learning things, learning new truths about my life, about where I'm at, what I'm afraid of, and how I can grow in the world. Because it's a practice where I'm forced to be fully present with myself. And the symbolism of the practice becomes visceral, tangible, felt in the heart, in the mind, in the body. So, in my yoga studio that I go to, there are two rows. It's a hot yoga room, and there's a front row that is right in front of a wall of mirrors. So the front row is right in front of a wall of mirrors. The back row is behind the front row. Everyone faces the mirrors. Now, for the first at least 3 months of my practice, I was practicing in the back row. Now, I've practiced yoga for like 15 years. I have a yoga teacher training and certification, not in this type of hot yoga, power vinyasa, ashtanga, bikram flow, but I have a yoga teacher certification. I know what I'm doing. I have the body awareness and muscle memory of many of the poses, nearly all of them. And still, I was feeling like, oh my God, get me away from the mirror. I don't want to look at myself that closely. I've had a really kind of strange relationship with the mirror as my weight has fluctuated over the course of my life and trouble with body image. So, it's no wonder that it cropped up in the yoga studio as well. And I also tended to practice in the corners. Now, in part, that was because those were hotter parts of the room and I was practicing in the winter when the room wasn't quite as hot. Now it's spring and it is much hotter. So, in those corners of the room, I was grappling with these questions that I propose to you as well. Like, why am I afraid to look at myself in the mirror? What am I hiding? What am I afraid of seeing? Why am I hiding? Why don't I want to be in the front? Why don't I want to be seen? What's this about? What's this desire or tendency, propensity to play small? What is the root there? No direct, really clear revelations happened about as to the answers to those questions, but they were questions. They were this bubbling up of curiosity about myself and about these tendencies that have manifested in my personality and outside of the yoga room as well. So this was just a little microcosm within which to work. So grappling with these questions, I kind of let it go at the same time. They're really good to be mindful of, but ask them, not really even dwell on them. Just let them be. Let them resonate and let the answer emerge naturally. And this is what I did. I continued practicing in the corners, and then I was actually forced kind of towards the middle of the room because as the temperature increased and the seasons changed, outside the temperature rose and also inside the room the temperature rose. And I was feeling a bit too hot in the corners where I had been practicing. So, I moved a bit closer to the middle by the doors where there's more airflow and it's a bit cooler. And being right by the door, you have that vata energy, you have that wind energy, you have that more movement, and you also have areas of the room where sweat tends to pool. And I had a really traumatizing experience being next to a man who was sweating so profusely, and we were both kind of in the low area of the room, and I ended up kind of practicing in a puddle of this other gentleman's sweat, and it was quite disgusting, and it was quite triggering to all of my OCD and cleanliness kind of neuroticism. So after that experience, I was like, I'm not going to practice, by the doors in the back row, in the second row. So one day, I just moved up to the front row, in the middle of the room, front and center. And this was profound for me. I found myself basking in that position. I found that my balance improved actually being closer to the mirror, because the mirror actually helps you with your balance, because you can focus on yourself. We're instructed to focus anywhere from the heart center up to the third eye. So, you don't have to stare at yourself in the eye or anything, but it can help with your alignment and your balance looking at yourself in the mirror rather than standing behind someone and your direct line where you should be looking ends up being at someone's back, and who knows, they might be wobbling or having their own problems. So I found that my balance has improved quite a bit being in the front row. And also these feelings of self-love and these feelings of acceptance and being okay with how I look, how my body looks, how I feel, how I'm taking the shapes and the forms of the poses, and not being afraid to actually look at myself in the mirror, not being afraid to be in a position in the room where I am seen. And interestingly enough, it's been a really incredibly healing experience, and it's been a lot better in terms of temperature as well, because I get that airflow of the coolness, and it's allowing me to continue my daily practice even as the temperature gets warmer here in Arizona. And I've found myself making more connections and feeling more confident and being complimented on my practice, frankly, also, because even if I don't hit every pose perfectly, or I don't have my splits, or my leg could be much higher up in the air, or whatever, there are always ways to improve. Yoga is a lifetime practice. You can always improve. Even yogis who look like they do everything perfectly, I'm sure they think they could improve in certain ways too. So it's not so much that my practice is so perfect or so amazing, but I feel that I'm resonating a certain air of confidence, a certain air of mindfulness and awareness and openness and curiosity in my practice, both on this bodily level of like, oh, let's see if I can push it a little bit more, and on this mental, emotional, spiritual level of grappling with these questions of how am I showing up in the world? How am I hiding from being in the center stage, or hiding from myself, hiding from others? How am I playing small? And it's a safe space to work with those questions. So I don't know how playing small might show up in your life. You may not practice yoga at all, so this whole analogy might not make sense to you. But I think even if you don't, hopefully you find some level on which you can resonate with this and start thinking about, are you hiding from yourself? Are you able to look at yourself in the mirror? If so, great. If not, why not? And kind of let it be open-ended, and don't feel the need to find some answer right away necessarily. The answers will come with time, and in the meantime, allow yourself the space to reflect and be open to whatever comes up. And know that what you see in the mirror, no one else is going to be seeing the same thing. And this is probably worth another video to talk about this, but you're going to have the tendency to see all of your flaws because you have the privilege of knowing all of your past experiences, and you know everything that's gone on inside your head for your whole life. You're the holder of those limiting beliefs or that negative self-talk. Someone else is going to perceive you through much clearer eyes. So, don't be afraid to let some of that go. And in time, I promise it'll get better. Just try your best to love and accept yourself as you are right now, and at least open the door to those questions I'm talking about, because there's absolutely no need to hide. In fact, you're doing the world a disservice by hiding. And I don't mean that in a shaming way. I mean that in a way that is loving and compassionate, because we each incarnated into our bodies to achieve a certain mission and to fully realize and express ourselves to our best ability, to be our most authentic, truest manifestation of ourselves. And in doing so, you're not going to be like anyone else necessarily. You're not necessarily going to fit in or blend in, and that's okay. That's you being unique you. So I think that's enough for today. Just reflect. Are you in the front row of your life? Are you okay looking at yourself in the mirror? What are you afraid of discovering? It's a lot to think about. Much love to you. Like if you like, subscribe if you want more, and click the link in the description to get a copy of Raw Food Ayurveda Volume 1 with 45 low-fat raw vegan recipes to help balance you in this crazy modern world. Much love to you.